This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maham and I crochet cute things. I was pretty dressed up in my last video, so I thought that I would balance it out. And today I'm in my favorite pajamas from Naomi, and I'm wearing my mom's cardigan that I quite literally never take off. Today we're crocheting more back charms. I went through the comments, I tried to see what you guys liked, and I came up with Miffy, a cat, and the rose brooch that I did for the top. I'm gonna put that up here. So the rose is basically detachable in the top, and I kept trying it on with other things. I tried it as a hair accessory, and then I tried it on my bag, and I tried it on my jeans. So it's just like, it's so versatile. It can help you dress up anything. So that one's probably my favorite. But let me know if there are any other back charms that you want me to make in the comments, and I can probably make another video for them because they are so cute. It's the perfect way to add a little bit of, well, to make your bags look even cuter. Just a cute little charm hanging there that says that you are a crocheter, you made this, and it's so cute. Also, thank you so much for your kind and sweet messages. It makes me so happy to see that I can help you create pieces that you love and that your audience loves for your business. I have let you guys know that it's completely okay to use my patterns and tutorials to create pieces for your business, for your craft store. It's completely okay with me. I love supporting crafters. I love having this community where we crocheters are supporting each other, and I'm so glad that I can help you with my free patterns and tutorials to grow your business. Adding on to that, I'd like to introduce you to today's sponsor, which is Squarespace, an all-in-one platform to create your online presence and launch your passion project. Whether you're just starting your business or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website and sell anything from products to content all in one place, all on your terms. With a huge range of various tools and easy-to-use templates, you can start an online store or business to sell digital and physical products. The platform has the tools you need to start selling online. Drive sales and engage your audience with Squarespace email campaigns. Introduce your brand to new subscribers with welcome emails, announce an upcoming sale, or send your top customers a discount code. Squarespace has member areas where you can connect with your audience and generate revenue through gated, members-only content through, for example, a membership for crochet patterns, or exclusive content and video courses. The possibilities are endless with Squarespace's various tools that empower you to stand out and succeed online. So if you'd like to create a website of your own, I highly recommend that you head to squarespace.com, try it out for yourself with a free trial, and once you're ready to launch, you can use the link in the description box to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. We're going to get started by making a Miffy. You're going to go ahead and make a magic ring. I know that making magic rings can be tricky for some of you, but don't worry, do it with me slowly and you'll get the hang of it. So you're just going to hold on to your fingers like this, wrap it around your fingers, making sort of like an X shape, and then using your ring finger, just hold on to it over there. Then you're going to take your hook. I'm using a 4.5mm hook, grab onto this end and twist it up like that. Then you're going to grab this and you're going to chain 1, like that. Now we're going to be inserting 8 single crochets into the magic ring. To do a single crochet, you're going to insert your hook into the magic ring, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through both the loops on your hook, and that is your first single crochet stitch. Go ahead and do 7 more to make a total of 8. Once you've got 8 single crochets inside your magic ring, you're going to pull this tight to close up your ring, but don't pull it too tight. Let's start the next round and then you can close it, otherwise this single crochet will be really hard to go into. We are going to be working in continuous rounds, so please keep a bobby pin or stitch marker next to you. You're going to need it. Insert your hook into the first single crochet of the round. Remember, that's your chain 1, not your stitch. This is your stitch over here. So you're going to take your hook and you're going to insert it through this stitch over here. Alright, so in every stitch we are going to be inserting 1 single crochet. I'm so sorry for all the background noise. So in that same stitch we're going to insert another single crochet, and now we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. Oh, and don't forget to mark with a bobby pin the very first single crochet you made in the round, and then you can pull this tight to close up the magic ring. In the next stitch we're going to do 2 single crochets in the same stitch also. So in every stitch you're going to do 2 single crochets. So I'm doing my last single crochet, well, 2 single crochets in the same stitch of the round, and that ends round 2. Now we're going to start round 3, and our pattern is going to be 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochets in the same stitch, which is called an increase. So from now on, whenever I say increase, that means 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So we're going to start the pattern where your bobby pin or stitch marker was, and we're going to insert 1 single crochet, and then you're going to mark it again with your bobby pin or stitch marker. Don't forget to mark the first stitch so you know where your rounds start and end. Now our pattern is 1 single crochet and then an increase. So in the next stitch I'm going to do 2 single crochets in that same stitch. Now you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. So 1 single crochet and then an increase in the next stitch, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And that is the end of this round. Now in our next round, our pattern is going to be 2 single crochets and then an increase. So starting from the place where your stitch marker or bobby pin was, you're going to do your first single crochet, and you're going to mark it with a bobby pin. Since our pattern is 2 single crochets and then an increase, in the next stitch we have to do another single crochet. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Now repeat this pattern all around. So 2 single crochets, that's 1 in the next stitch, 2, and then in the next stitch, an increase, where we are going to do 2 single crochets in the same stitch. This gets very repetitive and easy to follow as you go along. In the next round, we're going to do 3 single crochets and then an increase. So you repeat the same steps. You do your first single crochet to start the pattern and the round, and then you mark it with your bobby pin or stitch marker. This is very similar to the technique that I followed in my how to crochet any plushie video. So if you have trouble with making plushies or following amigurumi tutorials, by watching that video, you will be able to create any plushie that you want just through 3 simple steps. So I highly recommend watching that if you want to create more plushies later on. So that's 1 in the next stitch, 2 in the next stitch, 3, and in the next stitch an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Go ahead and repeat this all the way around. So 3 single crochets and then an increase. Now we have finished our increase rounds to get the size that we want, and now we're going to be making the part, making it a little bit thicker, doing the repeat rounds so that we can add a little bit of stuffing inside and make it kind of like a plush. So for the next few rounds, you are going to do just 1 single crochet in every stitch. So start the round by doing your first single crochet, mark it with a stitch marker, and repeat these same steps for the following rounds. So just go ahead and do 1 single crochet in every stitch. No increases, nothing, just 1 single crochet in every stitch, and you're going to see your plush start to form. Next, we're going to start closing up our miffy. So we're going to do something called decrease rounds, and you're going to be doing a decrease. Hi, Chai. Oh, he just sneezed. Bless you. To make decrease rounds, you are going to repeat the pattern that you were doing for the increase rounds, but instead of doing an increase, you're going to do a decrease. So we're going to start off the pattern by inserting a single crochet and starting our next round. Don't forget to mark it. You're always going to mark it with a bobby pin or stitch marker. We're going to do 3 single crochets and then we're going to do a decrease. So we did our first single crochet, then we're going to do 2, 3, and then we're going to make a decrease. We're going to do something called an invisible decrease. You're going to insert your hook through 1 loop of the stitch. So that's 1 loop, that's the back loop. We're just going to go through the front loop over here like that, and then you're going to just push your hook downwards, and you're going to grab onto the front loop in the next stitch, and then you're going to yarn over, pull through both of these loops, and then yarn over, pull through the other 2 loops, and that is your invisible decrease. And now you're going to repeat this pattern. So you're going to do 3 single crochets and then a decrease. So 1, 2, 3, and then to make a decrease, you're going to grab onto the front loop, Oops, it is going to be a bit tricky, but be patient. So you're going to grab onto your front loop, push your hook down, grab onto the front loop in the other stitch, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, then yarn over, pull through the other 2 loops, and repeat this all the way around. In the next round, we're going to do 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So once again, we're going to start the pattern from this first single crochet and mark it with our bobby pin. So we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1, 2, and then an invisible decrease. And then you're going to repeat this all the way around the round. One more time, 2 single crochets and then a decrease. In the next round, our pattern is going to be 1 single crochet and then a decrease. So same thing we've been doing. Start your first single crochet, mark it. Since our pattern is 1 single crochet and then a decrease, you're just going to do a decrease next. And you're going to repeat this all the way around. Right, so before I do the last few rounds, this is what you should have so far. What I like to do before I finish up my work is add the face with a plastic needle. I took a picture of this on Instagram and then I used the draw tool to just draw on the eyes and find out where I want to position it, and then I attached my yarn to a plastic needle, and then I'm going to embroider this onto the face. Now we're going to get to the tricky part. Well, it's not tricky, more so it's just hard to do, but in this round we're just going to do decreases, no single crochets at all. You're going to start your first decrease of the round and then you're going to mark it with your bobby pin just like before. So again, in this round there are only decreases, so don't make any single crochets. After doing your first decrease, just do another decrease and then another decrease and then another decrease until you reach the end of this round. Now before we close it up, we need to put in the stuffing. I just took out some old stuffing from a cushion that I didn't want to use anymore. You can use an old pillow, go to a thrift store, find some old pillows, cut it open, get the stuffing from in there. You don't need to go out and buy some fancy stuffing, just repurpose what you have and fill in your charm. Going to do another round of decreases and then you are going to slip stitch to join your work all together. So it's going to be even trickier now to do your decreases, but just bear with me. Repeat what you were doing before. So we're just doing decreases. And you don't need to mark the decreases anymore. I think let's just do 2 or 3 more decreases and then we'll just end our work. Alright, so I'm just going to do 2 and then I'm just going to end my work. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to grab this end and this end, and I'm just going to slip stitch it closed like that. Okay, I kind of don't like this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove one of the decreases. Instead, I'm going to take this, I'm going to grab this end, and I'm going to grab this end, and I'm going to slip stitch it closed. Don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I just did that. To close it up, you just slip stitch it together. You've got your miffy, and now you can fasten this off. So you're just gonna chain 2. This is what I like doing. You can fasten off however you like. Cut the yarn, pull, tighten it, and then you can take this and you can just tuck it into one of the holes over there. Get in. So we're going to start off by making a magic ring, just like we did before. Twist, grab onto this, and chain 1, like that. Now we're going to be inserting 6 single crochets into our magic ring because we're making a smaller piece. Once you've got that done, you can pull this a little bit tight, but remember, don't make it too tight. Insert my hook here, and our pattern is going to be 1 single crochet and then an increase. So you're going to go into the first stitch, get your hook and squeeze it through that first single crochet. And I finally got it in, and then just single crochet, and just like before, you still have to mark your first single crochet of the next round. And then in the next stitch we're going to do an increase. So our pattern is 1 single crochet and then an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Go ahead and repeat this all the way around. And once you're done with that round, that's basically it for the increases. We have the size that we want. If you want to make it bigger, do another increase round. But if you like how it is, you can start doing your repeat rounds. Oh my goodness, look what I did. I forgot to mark the first single crochet of the round. I am guessing it was this one over here. Don't be like me, always mark it, otherwise you're gonna lose track of the row that you're in and when to stop and how to count and you know, all that stuff. So just go ahead and now you're going to insert 1 single crochet in each stitch, and you're going to repeat this. To end your work, you're just going to slip stitch and cut a long length so that you can sew it on, and then pull and tighten. To attach it, I'm just inserting my needle through the ear and then through the head and pulling it through and tightening, and what it does, it just attaches my ear onto the head wherever I like it. I'm also going to show you how to fasten off later on. So basically you go through one of the stitches on your ear. I know it's a bit tricky to see. You grab onto one of the stitches and then you grab onto a place in the body and you just slide it through and it attaches it in place for you. To end my work, all I'm going to do is tie a knot through one of the little loops, and then I'm just going to cut. Once you have your secure knot, you can just cut this, and using your hook you can push this end through just to hide it. You're going to first attach the yarn and you're going to slide your hook through a stitch at the top wherever you can find space, and your stuffing might come out with you, but just bear with it, and make a little loop with your yarn that you want to attach and slide it through this stitch over there. So you're going to see that it's attached itself. But once you've got it through, you're just going to pull and you can tie a knot to secure it in place. There, you've attached your yarn, and now we're going to chain the length that you need. So you're just going to grab on to here and you're going to pull up a loop like this, and then you're going to chain the length that you want this thing to be. So just grab onto your keyring and I'm going to attach it here. So leave this part empty so you can slide it on and off your bag. And you're just going to put your keyring on like that, and you're going to make a slip stitch that goes over your keyring. So just grab onto this and slip stitch it. Then you just chain 1, and then that chain attaches itself onto your miffy. Then you can fasten off. So the way that I like to do this is just to make an extra chain. And then I'm just going to take my scissor and cut it, pull, and I'm going to tighten this. It's a bit hard to explain what I'm doing here, but I'm basically taking the end that was here and I am weaving it through the chains. So I just go ahead and I insert my hook through the chain, and then I grab onto the end and I pull it through the chain. Just pull this through. It is a bit tricky to do, and then I do this all the way until I reach here. Look, I've got it all the way down. Once it's there, I'm just gonna push it in to hide it. So I just tuck it into a hole. And there is your miffy keychain. We're gonna get started by making a magic circle. You're gonna hold onto your yarn with your 2 fingers and wrap it around, making sort of like an X shape. And then you're gonna grab your hook, pull it under, grab onto this loop, bring it up, twist, and then hold onto this end over here with your ring finger. Grab onto it with your hook and pull it through to chain 1, and there you've got your magic circle. Now you're going to insert 6 single crochets into the magic circle. So that's 1, 2, to single crochet, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops on your hook. Once you've got 6 single crochets in your magic circle, you're going to pull it a little bit tight, not too tight, just a bit tight, and then you're going to insert your hook into the first single crochet that you made, and we're going to start round 2. The pattern for round 2 is 2 single crochets in every stitch. So whenever we say 2 single crochets in the same stitch, that's called an increase. So go ahead and insert your hook into the first single crochet that you made. Also, no, you are not the only one struggling to get your hook through that first single crochet. It happens to me a lot. It just becomes really, really tight. So what you can do is you can get a bobby pin or your stitch marker and use it to just stretch that stitch out and hold on to it, make a little hole, and then insert your hook through that hole over there. So that's a little way to get your hook inside. And now you're going to insert 1 single crochet into that stitch. This is going to be the first single crochet of your round 2. So you're going to mark it with a bobby pin or stitch marker so that you know where the beginning and end of your rounds are. Now in that same stitch you just went into, you're going to insert another single crochet because our pattern is 2 single crochets in the same stitch every stitch. So do the same thing in the next stitch, 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And you're going to repeat this all the way around. You can pull this tighter and it'll close up your circle. And I'm in my last stitch just before the bobby pin. I'm gonna complete my round by following the same pattern, 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Just gonna pull this way tighter. And now we're going to start round 3, and our pattern is going to be 1 single crochet and then an increase. An increase is basically 2 single crochets in the same stitch, what we were doing in round 2. So you're gonna remove your bobby pin and you're gonna start with 1 single crochet in the stitch where your bobby pin was. Then you're going to mark it again with a bobby pin to mark the beginning and end of your round. Now we're going to do the next step of the pattern, which is an increase. So you did 1 single crochet, now we're going to do an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And now repeat this pattern all the way around. So 1 single crochet and then an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Now we're going to do our next round, and the pattern is going to be 2 single crochets and then an increase. We're going to start the pattern with 1 single crochet, and you're going to mark this. Always mark your first stitch of the next round, and then we're going to do another single crochet in the next stitch. So that's 1, 2, and then we're going to do an increase. Sorry about that, my brother's just playing a few games. Alright, so we've got 2 single crochets and then an increase. So you're going to repeat this all the way around. You're going to do 1 single crochet, another single crochet, and then in the next stitch, an increase. This is very similar to what we were doing for Miffy. We just started with a lesser stitch count. Now we're all done with our increase rounds because we have the size that we want. Now we're going to do repeat rounds. In repeat rounds, you just do 1 single crochet in every stitch, but always mark the first stitch of your next round. So in the following rounds, you're just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around. Now in the next few rounds, we are going to do decrease rounds with invisible decreases, and I'm going to show you how to make them. So the pattern remains the same as your increase rounds, but instead of doing increases, you're going to do decreases. So again, we're going to start the round with a single crochet. Our pattern is going to be 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So you did 1 single crochet, then you're going to do the other single crochet, then you're going to do an invisible decrease in these 2 stitches over here. So you're going to grab on to the front loop with your hook. Then you're going to push your hook down, so that's the back loop, that's the front loop. You're just going to grab on to the front loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is how you make an invisible decrease. Now go ahead and repeat this pattern all the way around. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and then you do an invisible decrease. So front loop, the other front loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Next, your pattern is going to be 1 single crochet and then a decrease. So using the same steps that we've been doing previously, you're going to start your round with 1 single crochet, mark it, and then you've done 1 single crochet, and then you're going to do a decrease. So you're going to grab onto the front loop, the other front loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and you're going to repeat this all the way around. So 1 single crochet and then a decrease. And then your last round to end your work is to make decreases all the way around. So no single crochets. You're going to start the round with a decrease, and you're just going to decrease in this whole round, but please still mark your first stitch. And then go ahead and just do decreases in this whole round. It's going to be tricky because you'll barely have enough space to work, but keep going. I recommend adding your stuffing in this round as well. So you can use stuffing from an old cushion or pillow. Once you've done the last decrease of the round, you're just going to slip stitch the end together so you can remove your bobby pin. And you're just gonna slip stitch into that stitch where your bobby pin was and the one that's across from it, and you're just gonna, well, slip stitch. And you're just gonna push this down because it's gonna try to come up. I accidentally went through both the loops, so it's popping up. But if you're careful with it, this won't happen to you. And then you can just fasten off. So to fasten off, I like to chain 2, and then I cut it all. I tighten it really well. For the ears, I tried to record what I was doing, but since the stitches are much smaller, my camera wasn't focusing at all, but the steps are the exact same as what we did for the head. So you can go to the written pattern in the description box and you can follow that. You start off with the magic ring. In the first round, you do 4 single crochets. In round 2, you do increases, and then in round 3, you do a repeat round with 1 single crochet in each stitch. Now we're going to make the little strawberry hat thing that the cat is going to be wearing. So again, you're going to start off with a magic ring and chain 1. And now you're going to insert 6 single crochets into the magic ring. And then it's the exact same pattern we've been following for Miffy and the cat's head. You're just going to start your next round and it's going to be 2 single crochets in each stitch. Your first stitch will be hard to get into, so just place your bobby pin or stitch marker in it and use that to guide your hook inside. Oops, it's going to be really tight. And you should be able to go through. Alright, now go ahead and repeat this pattern for round 2. Don't forget to mark the first stitch of your round as always. 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So in that same stitch, you're going to insert another single crochet. And repeat this all the way around. In the next round, we're going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase. So just to make this video a little bit more time efficient and not too long, you can go and head to the written pattern in the description box and complete the rest of the rounds. There's just increase rounds and then repeat rounds. Just follow that, and then when it comes to the part where you have to make space for the cat's ears, you can come back to this video and I'm going to show you with the demonstration how to do that. This is how my little hat thing fits so far. It's a little bit coming forward and I like it that way because I want it to cover as much of the cat's chin as it can, but if you don't like it, you can do 1 less row. So to do the ears, what you're going to do is just move this to where the ear is and then see how many stitches you need to skip. So I'm going to do my first single crochet of the next round over here where the bobby pin is. Then I'm going to chain 3, single crochet here, single crochet here. Then I'm going to chain 3 and skip these, and then single crochet here, and then do the rest of the round. See if my calculations are correct. So I'm just going to do my first single crochet of the round. And then I'm going to mark it with a bobby pin, as always. And now I need to skip the following stitches to make space for the cat's ears. So I'm going to do 1. So 1 chain for every stitch that you skip. So I skipped 1, so I chained 1. I'm going to skip 2, so I'm going to chain 2. And then I'm going to skip 3, so I'm going to chain 3. And then I'm going to see if this is going to fit around my ears. So I skipped 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to come here and I'm going to single crochet in that 4th stitch. So I'm going to try to do this without taking it off my cat. And I'm going to single crochet like that. And now you can see that you have worked around your ear. And you're going to repeat this on the other side as well. So you're going to do 1 single crochet. Then I'm going to do another single crochet. Remember, this is up to you and how many stitches you need to skip. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. You can follow me too, but you might need to make little adjustments. So let's do this again. I'm going to skip 1, so I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to skip 2, so I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to skip 3, so I'm going to chain 3. And then I'm going to work back into that 4th single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and in that 4th single crochet over here, I'm going to insert my hook, making sure I keep my stitch nice and tight, not too loose, and I'm going to single crochet like normal, like that. And there, we finished that part as well. Look how cute it already looks. Now I can just continue to single crochet all the way around to end the round. You don't have to do anything else. You're just going to single crochet all the way around. Now, once you're done with that round, you are going to do one more round of just single crochets. If you don't want to, you can just stop here, but I want to do just one more round. And if you want to as well, I'm going to show you what to do. So I started my round and I marked it with a bobby pin in that first stitch. And now to do your stitches in the chains, you're just going to insert your hook into the chain like this, and you're going to do a single crochet like that. And that's it. So if you've got 3 chains, you can do 1 single crochet each. So that would be 3 stitches. And that's basically it. You're just going to go around the round inserting 1 single crochet if you want to make your hat come a little bit more forward on your cat's head like I do. So I wanted to cover a little bit more of the cat before I end it. So keep going all the way around. So to end your work, you're just going to remove the stitch where your bobby pin was, and you're going to slip stitch there. So insert your hook and just a little slip stitch, cut, and then you can weave this in, or if you're lazy like me, you can also just push this inside. I hate sewing, I hate weaving, and I will always pick the easy way out, even if it's not the most secure. Now to make the green part, the leaves for the strawberry, you're going to start by making a magic ring and insert 5 single crochets into it like what I have over here, and then you're going to insert your hook into that first single crochet and you're going to slip stitch. Now you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around, which will give you 5 leaves. So you're going to chain 2 and then make this a little bit loose, and you're going to insert your hook into that second chain. So chain 1, chain 2, right there, that second chain, and you're going to slip stitch. So you're going to slip stitch through the loop on your hook. And yes, this is going to be tricky and hard to do. And then this is the place where you slip stitched already, so ignore that. You're going to go into the next stitch and you're going to slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 2, make this a little bit loose, go into the second chain, and then slip stitch again. And you're going to repeat this all the way around until you've got 5 leaves. So one of these is a leaf. So 1, 2, let's do the next one. Go into the next stitch, slip stitch, chain 2. This is what you should have when you're done. You can just fasten this off. So to fasten off, I like to just chain 1 and then cut. Then I pull and I tighten. To make the cloud, you're just gonna insert your hook through a stitch or a place where you can basically attach the yarn, so over there, and you're going to take the color that you want to use and you're going to slide it through like that, and then you can just chain the length that you want it to be. So go ahead and chain. What we're going to do next is we're going to attach your chain back over here to make the little clasp. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert my hook through the stitches and I'm gonna slip stitch. So just grabbing onto that, you're gonna slip stitch it to attach it in place. So I'm just gonna chain 2 and we are gonna fasten off. I'm gonna cut this, pull, tighten. And now to make this a little bit less flimsy, I am gonna tie a knot around it. So I'm just gonna tie a knot through both of these. But what I'm doing here is I attach my bobby pin and I'm gonna pull this bobby pin through like this. Just pulling it is going to be hard because I accidentally pulled my magic ring tight. So look, we're just gonna push this down, 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 over here and just press it in place. And there you have it. You've got your little strawberry cat. If you want, you can fluff this up, you can press it even more down, and then you can weave these ends in or just cut them. Anything works. I'm gonna make 2 sizes of strawberries. One is gonna be slightly smaller and then the other one is slightly bigger. They follow the same method, it's just different number of stitches. Make a magic ring, hold on to your yarn and wrap it around your fingers, making sort of like an X shape. Insert your hook, grab onto this, pull it up and twist. And then while you're still holding on to this yarn over here, you are going to chain 1. And there you've got your magic ring. Now inside the magic ring, you're going to insert 6 single crochets. So insert your hook into the magic ring, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, making your first single crochet. Go ahead and do a total of 6 inside the magic ring. Once you're done, you can pull this a little bit tight and go ahead and get your bobby pin or stitch marker because the first stitch is really hard to go into. So this one over here, so what I like doing is just getting my bobby pin and putting it into that stitch to open it up a little bit. And now we're going to be doing round 2. For round 2, our pattern is going to be 2 single crochets and then an increase. So I'm going to explain that as we go along. Right now, you are going to insert 1 single crochet into the stitch where we just put your bobby pin. So yeah, it is going to be hard to go into. Press it, and there. Once you've got that in, you're going to do a single crochet. You can remove your bobby pin. And this single crochet that you just made is your first stitch of round 2. We always mark the first stitch of every round with a bobby pin so we know where the beginning and end of our rounds are. So since our pattern is 2 single crochets and then an increase, we've got 1 single crochet already. Then in the next stitch, we're going to do another single crochet. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do an increase. An increase is basically 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So go into the next stitch, do 1 single crochet, and then in that same stitch, insert your hook again and do another single crochet. And that is what an increase is. Let's repeat this pattern around the round. So you're going to do 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So you've got 1, 2, and then in the next stitch you're going to do an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch, like that. And there you've done your round 2. You can pull this tighter now. And what I like doing is just folding it outward so that the stitches are a little bit easier to get into. Now we're going to do round 3. So to start the round, you're going to remove the bobby pin or stitch marker and insert your hook where that bobby pin or stitch marker was and make 1 single crochet. That is the start of round 3, so you're going to mark it. Now our pattern is going to be 1 single crochet and then an increase. So we did 1 single crochet, now we're going to do an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Make your stitches nice and tight, otherwise you're going to have a few holes in your work. Now repeat this pattern all the way around. So you're going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase. Make sure you're working into the same stitch for the increase. Now, if you're making the larger strawberry, please go to the written pattern in the description box and it's going to show you what to do for the next few rounds. It's the same steps, it's just more stitches. But if you're making the smaller strawberry like me, you're going to start doing repeat rounds. This basically means that for the next 2 rounds, you're going to do just 1 single crochet in every stitch, no increases at all. But if you're making the larger strawberry, then you're going to do 5 single crochets and then an increase until you reach the end of the round. So if you're doing the small strawberry, just go ahead and do 1 single crochet in every stitch. Next round, we're going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch 2. Always mark your first stitch of the round with a bobby pin or stitch marker. Don't forget to do that. And just go ahead and do 1 single crochet in every stitch. Once you're done with that, I just want to compare the size so you can see. As you can see, this one is very slightly smaller. It has less rounds than the bigger one. In our next round, we're going to do something called an invisible decrease. So we call this a decrease round to basically make the strawberry close inwards. But before I do the decrease round, I like doing the white seeds on the strawberry first. To do this, I'm using a plastic needle. Once again, I have all of the materials linked on my Amazon storefront. If you don't have these, you can purchase them from Amazon. I'm just going to tie a knot to attach the white yarn to my needle, and then I'm going to make the seeds. So the way that I do this is I'm just going to remove my hook, otherwise it's going to be really hard. I'm just going to take my needle and I'm going to insert it through a stitch where I want the seed to be, and I'm going to pull. I've got a pretty long one over here. Yours doesn't need to be this long. And then I'm going to go back in, so find a place where I want the seed to be. And doing this makes my seed come right over there. And now I'm just going to repeat this in all the places where I want a seed. And I make sure not to pull too tight so that the seeds are sort of kind of popping up. And then I just go back in where I want the seed to be. And I'm going to repeat this all the way around until I have as many seeds as I want. Now we're going to do our round of decreases to make the top of the strawberry smaller so that we can end our work. To do this, you're going to follow the pattern of 2 single crochets and then an invisible decrease. I'm going to show you how to do that. So you're going to insert your hook and do your first single crochet to start the pattern and to start the round. Then you're going to do your second single crochet, because remember the pattern is 2 single crochets and then a decrease. Then to make your invisible decrease, you're going to grab the front loop, and then you're going to grab the front loop of the other stitch. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2. That is your invisible decrease, and you're going to repeat this all the way around. So 1, 2, and then a decrease. So grab onto the front loop, grab onto the other front loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is how you're going to finish up your strawberry. This is going to be our last round with pink. And once you finish this, you can stuff your strawberry. So you can use stuffing from an old pillow or cushion. Then to end my work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into the stitch where my bobby pin was. And I'm just going to cut. And that is the end of your strawberry. Once again, we're going to get started by making a magic ring. And you're going to chain 1 while the magic ring is still on your fingers. In round 1, we're going to insert 6 single crochets into our magic ring, and this is going to make 6 leaves. If you want to do just 5 leaves, insert 5 single crochets. If you want to do 4, if you want to do more than 6, insert that number into your magic ring. Whether you're making the larger strawberry or the smaller strawberry, the steps remain the same. I didn't make many changes to this because I liked how it looked on both my small and large strawberry. However, if you do want to make this smaller, then you can just change the number of stitches that you're doing. Once you're done with your 6 single crochets for round 1, you're going to insert your hook into that first stitch. Again, it's going to be tricky to do, so make sure you've got the help of your bobby pin or stitch marker, so it'll help you insert your hook into it. Once that's done, you are going to make a slip stitch, and then that's going to start the round to make the leaves. So just go ahead and make a slip stitch like that. Then you're going to chain 3, and you're going to repeat these steps all the way around. So the pattern is to slip stitch, then chain 3, then make this one a little bit loose, insert your hook into the second chain. That's 1, 2, so that's the second chain, and then you're going to slip stitch. So this is going to be hard to do as well, that's why you have to make that loose. And then you're going to go into the third chain and you're going to single crochet. Now we're done with 1 leaf, so then you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. You already did this one, you're going to go into the next stitch and slip stitch. Now repeat the same pattern. You're going to chain 3, make this a little bit loose, go into your second chain and slip stitch, then go into the third chain and single crochet. You've got your second leaf, you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch and repeat the same steps all over. At the end you should have 6 leaves like this, or if you did a different number then you should have that number of leaves. Over here I've got 5 leaves. I'm doing my last one, which is the 6th one, with the same exact steps. Now we're going to end our work, so you're going to slip stitch over here, and then you're going to cut a long tail long enough for you to sew your leaves onto your strawberry, then you're going to pull and tighten to make the chain that will connect our strawberry to our key ring. So to do that, you're going to take your hook and you can insert it through any 2 stitches on your strawberry like that, so cross over it, and then you're going to get your yarn that you want to use to make that chain. I'm using green so that this chain can sort of act like the stem of the strawberry. Then I'm going to pull it through, and then I'm going to tie a knot securing it in place, and that also closes up our strawberry. You can tuck this in just to hide it. You're going to insert your hook back through those stitches where you had it, and you're going to pull up a loop like this, and then you can chain the length that you want for this chain. And once you've got the length that you want, you're going to take your bobby pin and you're just gonna insert it through this, and we're gonna attach the leaf. We're gonna attach this to our strawberry. You're gonna make it tight, and then you're gonna insert this through the hole over here. So get your bobby pin to go through this hole and just pull it through like that, and you will see it come onto your strawberry. So that's how you can basically just get your leaf to come onto your strawberry. And now we're going to remove our bobby pin. I'm going to show you what to do next. Just pull a little bit of yarn through, and now I'm going to get my key ring. You repeat these steps you repeat these same steps whether you're doing the large strawberry or the small strawberry. And you get your hook and you put the key ring onto your hook. Then you grab onto your yarn and you're going to do something called a slip stitch. So you're just going to take this yarn, okay, look carefully, you're going to grab this and you're going to pull it through like that. Then you can chain 2. So 1, I'm going to keep this away from the end. Once you've chained 1, you're going to do another chain. This will help us fasten our work onto the key ring. And then you can see if you like the size. And you can get your scissor and you can cut and then pull and tighten really well. Make sure it's super duper tight. And do you see this end? It's still going to be through. You're just going to pull it out like that, and then your strawberry should be attached to the key ring. Now I'm just going to sew the leaves onto the strawberry. So using my plastic needle, I'm going to attach the end that we left over here with a knot. Then I'm just going to insert my hook through the leaf and then through a place in the strawberry where I want to attach it to, and then I'm just going to pull. And it's going to attach itself to the strawberry. Then I'm just going to position it, so I'm going to see where I want to attach all of them. So I want to attach this one here. So I'm going to insert my hook through, grab on to a place in the strawberry, and pull. And look, it's just going to attach itself to the strawberry, and I'm going to repeat this all the way around.